Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Los Angeles, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Lexington, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. Don't go anywhere else. So Fox News actually told a little bit of truth about what's happening in Israel, Gaza, and nobody expected it. You know, you've lost almost everyone when Fox News broadcasts a call against Israel systematically murdering Palestinian journalists. And this does put, well, let's watch it. Here it is.
There are so many neighborhoods that are flattened.
This is what it looks like.
Palestinians that are internally displaced will simply have no homes to return to. And while we get a first-hand look at the destruction here, it's important to remember that Palestinian journalists do not have this access. They have been pushed to the south. Dozens have been killed.
There's this false narrative about Palestinian journalists. More than 100 of them have been killed by Israel since the war began. And I take very few positions in the conflicts that we cover, but let this be a position that I take. Journalists, specifically Palestinian journalists, must be protected amid the war. The Israelis have killed journalists in drone strikes. They've killed them with small arms fire, and it's unacceptable.
Oh, well, if there's any consolation, they kill American journalists. They kill all journalists who want to say anything, and they do worse to people that cross them. What do you like? Like, if it helps, they'll kill anyone.
This really puts the shitlibs in an awkward position because Fox News just stole all their compassion for the rest of the world. I'm kidding. Today's liberals don't give a F about anybody else except the ones who are going to invite them to the next important party. We know
I only
that.
care if they eat a big bag of Doritos or they eat an unhealthy cereal like Raisin Bran. That's what that's a liberal concern. Did you eat Raisin Bran, Kamala? That's the best interview she ever did. I talk to people all the time, their eyes glaze over.
It's be interesting to show this to your so-called liberal friends. And watch
see the Fox News label? That means they will blink out.
They're going to call it fake news because that's how they were dog trained to bark. No, Fox News, that can't be real. You want to watch this again? This was kind of stunning, don't you think?
There are so many neighborhoods that are flattened. Palestinians that are internally displaced will simply...
This is under the guise of they're fighting a war. The Palestinians don't have a...
There are so many neighborhoods that are...
So this is what... The Palestinians could not do this to Israel. The Palestinians don't have... You know what the Israelis have? They have Black Hawk helicopters, F-16 fighter jets, 200-pound bunker buster bombs.
Oh, by the way,
you know what the
Israelis than Hamas on October 7th. Israel did.
You know what the Palestinians have? They have hang gliders and Adidas sweatpants and flip-flops.
Yes. They didn't blow up all them cars. That's not possible
right.
with hang gliders and flip-flops. Possible with all the toys we gave Israel that they don't even know how to use properly. Or maybe they were.
There are so many neighborhoods that are flattened. Palestinians that are internally displaced will simply have no homes to return to. And while we get a first-hand look at the destruction here, it's important to remember that Palestinian journalists do not have this access.
They will have no homes to return to. It's almost like that works out for the Israeli Zionist settlers.
Well, you know what's happening, right? The northern part of Israel, by Lebanon, like 60,000 Israelis are like, I'm getting the hell out of here. So I was watching Scott Ritter talk about it. You should get him back to talk about it. Very interesting. That pager thing they did?
Yeah.
Okay, just like Stuxnet and the other thing, Israel, or Netanyahu specifically, because he's been there so goddamn long, if he thinks his power's about to slip, he'll use some secret tool no one's supposed to know about. He'll just blow it to save his ass or try to do something. So that pager technology is yet another thing like Stuxnet that people weren't supposed to know was possible. But because he was afraid he's losing his grip, he just went ahead and did it in Lebanon to have a phony win to give to his people so that they don't run him out of town and jail. They should have executed him. If Israel had any smarts, this guy would be like, he's worse than any criminal that you could conceive of. And so he keeps blowing it with the secret spy technology, just keeping himself in power. Did you know that?
So yes,
it's amazing.
So you know what's funny is I was in an interview the other day, and the interviewer asked me, Jimmy, would you have? A lot of people give you a hard time for who you've platformed. And
if you say platform, I want you to. Okay, I'm sorry.
And would you be willing to? To interview Nick Fuentes? And I said, let me put it to you this way: if I could get Benjamin Netanyahu on my show, nobody would say that I shouldn't do that. And he's the biggest murderous, maniac, psychopath, genocider in the world. So there's nobody worse than him. So if I could have Benjamin Netanyahu on my show, or Joe Biden, who's funding this, and nobody would look down their nose at me, then anybody's okay. So,
but are you going to dress up in a skin tight suit with cat ears so you can relate to him?
So are you
going to become a cat boy?
Let's watch this again. So they have no homes to go home to, which was the plan all along.
Been pushed to the south. Dozens have been killed.
There's this false narrative about Palestinian journalists. More than 100 of them have been killed by Israel since the war began. And I take very few positions in the conflicts that we covered. But let this be a position that I take. Journalists, specifically Palestinian journalists, must be protected amid the war. The Israelis have killed journalists in drone strikes. They've killed them with small arms fire, and it's unacceptable.
I hope he's got protection from Pierre Omagid or whatever that guy from Breaking Points, because I don't know how he's allowed to say that on Fox.
I don't know how he was.
There's clearly somebody's agenda is with it. There's no way Fox would tell the truth about. Who would tell the truth about Israel? Who would on mainstream news ever? If
they a couple people did on MSNBC, immediately fired. Remember, Mehdi Hassan thought all his lying about the Ukraine war and the Syrian war and Russiagate would insulate him so he could tell the truth about Gaza. He was wrong.
Oh, looks like he was the nothing burger.
Yeah.
Not the Twitter files.
Yeah. So Glenn Greenwald says, major credit to Trey Yingst of Fox for calling attention to the fact that Israel has killed countless journalists in Gaza while permitting almost no foreigner reporters in, as well as documenting and lamenting the flattening of a huge part of Gaza's entire civilian infrastructure.
Nice knowing you, Trey. I hope you got some kind of protection because you're going to get your iPhone hacked on a plane.
You should,
for sure.
Yeah, and you should try to start a Rumble channel. That's my
start a Rumble channel, maybe an Odyssey as backup
or a Substack. And then someone says the replies to him are wild. The replies under his video.
What did Michael Rappaport say to him?
Yes, and Glenn Greenwald says he's a popular Fox reporter, does a lot of work documenting what's going on the U.S. border and foreign wars. So to see him simply describe the reality in Gaza that reflects poorly on Israel is something they didn't expect and simply can't tolerate. So it's funny, all the people who I agree with on Ukraine, I agree with on the border, I agree with on censorship, they completely go along with the genociding State Department, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Benjamin Netanyahu, who's hated in his own country.
Well,
they completely buy that. And anybody who tells the truth about Israel, what do you support Hamas? I had someone at my own live show. Who do you support, Hamas? No, you know who does? Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
I wonder why. And why do you think that is?
Hamas has killed less Israelis than Netanyahu did.
That's
Moron.
Right, yeah.
By the way, online, when they go, the replies to him on this are wild. We had this story. The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act is in effect. So that means America propagandizes you online with bots and troops. Certainly the Mossad does it. Certainly Ukraine does it. So when you say these wild replies, and they are wild, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Keep in mind, there is strong ops, probably more than ever right now, because things are not going well for Israel over there. They're not winning. I don't know if people
wait till you see the next story. Yeah. Well, the one last thing I want to read to you is, no question, it's just incredible to see in real time how quickly people will turn on you for the slightest deviation from the approved script. Well, that's been coming from the Democratic or the liberals for the last 8 years. And now the people, the conservatives turned on this guy over telling the truth about Gaza. I was the only one at the Rescue the Republic who even mentioned, hey, you know what? If you take away free speech from Palestinian protesters, that's also taking away your free speech. Again, the First Amendment is there to protect the speech that you hate. And if you can't stand up on principle for the person you hate's freedom of speech, then you don't have any principle. That's why Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, all those people, they don't have any principles. They're just fucking partisan hacks.
Well, Jimmy, I keep telling you, the purpose of mind control is to make those principles go away. And that way you can live with the cognitive dissonance of your things not fitting together at all. And then you start wearing wacky suits or you get Kyle Kalinske hair. I mean, that's what the purpose of it is. It doesn't have to be you got strapped to a chair. It's subtle. The media has been dude, I remember 9/11 afterwards, the stuff I fell for, and the stuff I was like, shut up. No, it's not like that. That's the control. It's really not ironclad. It really isn't. It's pretty flimsy. And as soon as people start noticing it, it really unravels. That's why we had that story where Hillary goes, if we don't, we're going to lose total control.
That's right.
Because they had that for a while.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something that actually might surprise you. It's called the Juvent Micro Impact Platform. I have one. I use one. I bought one before they were in advertising. I bought one a year ago. Now, before you start thinking this is just another gimmick like all those shake plates, have you seen those? You know what I'm talking about? You see them all over the place. Hear me out on this. I know there's a lot of junk out there, but this thing is legit. And I don't say that lightly. So what makes Juvent different? It's not some paint shaker from China. This is a device that uses a special micro impact technology. That means it gives your body just enough impact to help your bones, your joints, and your muscles without all that dangerous shaking that could actually mess you up. Peter Simonson, who I had a meeting with, and he explained all this to me. He's the guy behind this machine. He broke it down for me. It's designed to help improve bone health, circulation, and even increase stem cell production. That's right. The thing actually helps your body generate the cells it needs to heal and regenerate. No $10,000 stem cell injections, no crazy invasive treatments, just 10 to 20 minutes a day standing on this platform. And your body starts doing what it's naturally supposed to do. And here's the kicker. It's not some fake magic trick. There's real research backing all of this up. It's used for people with osteoporosis, joint pain, or folks like me who have been sitting too long and need to feel like they can move again without falling apart. All you do, you get on this thing, and it helps your body activate those areas that might have been neglected from, living in a world where you sit too much, where you stress too much, and you move way too little. So if you've got a home gym collecting dust, this is a piece of equipment that you'll actually use. And if you're like me and you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to stay healthy and avoid getting conned by big pharma, you might want to check out the Juvent, that's Juvent, Micro Impact Platform. Head over to Juvent, Juvent.com/Dore, D-O-R-E. And give it a look. Seriously, this could be the thing that keeps you off the operating table. Who wouldn't want that? That's Juvent.com/DORE. And be sure to use my exclusive code DORE for $500 off your Juvent today. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Los Angeles, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Lexington, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. Don't go anywhere else.